in some short videos, right? So you can also check it out over here. The examples of I-shape and T-shape people. If you are I-shape people, right, you may need a supervisor to manage you. And this supervisor must equally have all the knowledge. Then only he will become a supervisor. But what agile environment say, we need to eliminate that supervising tool so that we can remove the functional role. Now we put everyone under one team and then we call them as a development team altogether. No title for them. They have been given based on their responsibilities and the tasks that they have to do. If you are looking into that kind of environment, you create a T-shape. That's why you can see like each one of them, they are working together. In between, no people to supervise them, right? For them to report. But each one of them has either one or two specialty area. And they also equipped with a little bit more like a 2 or 3 additional skills. So now we are focusing on learning new skills. It could be hard skills or soft skill to equip ourselves as a T-shaped people so easily we can be hired by an agile organization, right? Okay, so with that, I complete the second portion of what is agile and also some of the benefits of being in an agile company and how you can change yourself as a cross-functional team member by adapting T-shaped personnel within you. Okay, I also wanted to cover a little bit on how to be agile, right? How to be agile is something like I give as a 5 key points. And the 5 key points has been bounded with in terms of changing the way that you are executing your job. Okay, and this is also something a very high level. I don't want to go very deep since I know like most of you are a starter and also in a beginner level of in agile environment. But I'm also given you some structure which I see like it works very well for me if you are starting on your agile journey. The very first thing is that creating a self-organizing mindset. So that means like you are independent on the task which has been given to you. And how you can create a self-organizing team when you are implanting a personal agility within one team. So when the entire team members are agile personnel, they can easily convert themselves as a self-organizing team. And how they can do that? By visualizing their work prior to the job need to be done. Okay. And also they try to delegate the job based on their specialty so that they can execute the job without having a clash. Decision-making power is also a part of a self-organizing team, right? You must have the voice in your team. Each and every one must have a voice in a team so that the constructive idea or the suggestion can be taken by the team to improvise their process, right? And also to have a team leader, but it's more like a coach person who can enable the actions of the team member. Okay, all these are some of the commonly practiced way if you are bringing a self-organizing team to empower them. And also the second thing, so we talk about the iterative approach. So in the iterative approach, you have this, like how you can create a value discovery by regularly having a collaboration meeting, by proactive the prioritizations. I feel like in most of the organization, the one thing that they fail to adopt in an agile environment is that they have a lot of things within a short period of time. Hey, I want to complete this project. I want to do that project. Let me also secure another project because they see like securing project to bring more revenue for the organization. but it's also a myth. It's not that the number is matter, the quantity is a matter, but the more important factor is about the quality. The moment you're focusing on the best quality for your client, you'll be getting a continuous engagement from your customer. So you don't need to worry about bringing more projects. You only focusing on make your project a successful one by setting up a priority, which one need to be completed, importantly, which add most value for the project, then goes to the least value. So by you are prioritizing yourself on the time and also on the work, you can even execute a better thing. And third one is also about how we can create incremental value creation. So the incremental value creations is on we are structuring our work together with the capacity of the team member. Let's say like you have taken a software development project and it has nearly about 10 features you are building on an e-commerce web development. So you have only 4 software developer, and then you are looking into constructing this development within like a 2 weeks time. We got this kind of engagement. Since I told you like I'm running a software development company, I've also gone through a very hectic time to deliver a certain projects. So when I use Agile, how we are using it, we take up the project if it's feasible for us to complete within a short time that asked by the customer. The customer always in hurry, but they don't have enough time. So what we have to do is that we come out with the most important features that we can show up to the customer to make them to feel good that we are doing their work on time and delivering the uh, project, or we are launching the site when they want it. But we can also tell them these are the 5 features that we can complete within 10 working days, and you are ready to launch your site. So our suggestion is that get the feedback from the customer, the market, before we are improvising the version 2. That's why you can see like in most of the development, projects, they'll be having a multiple version. So the multiple version helps to improvise the system based on the feedback given by the user. And you can see this very much on the mobile apps. Currently, when you wanted to download a mobile app on Google Store or even Apple Store, the first thing that we'll be seeing the star rating, so that it creates a trust about that particular, the quality of the product. When you look into that, you will be seeing like, oh, okay, I think this app maybe is a good one. Many people have suggested. Immediately, we also go and check the reviews of it. Okay, so when we check the reviews, we concentrate on the experience faced by other users. It really matters. And how the development team, the mobile app will work on is that they collect all this feedback, okay, and they use this feedback to improvise the mobile app to a better version continuously. That's why you can see like they will be having a version v1.1.2, v2.2.3, like that. If you are, if you want to also concern, go and check it out on the number of version for My Sejatra application. That I think all of us are having a My Sejatra application, right? Go and check it out in the Google Store. What is the version that they have currently? Since they start implementing My Sejatra in the May 2020, right? So their purpose to create a contact tracing of the COVID patients and also to control the movement of people so that they can find who has been spread the COVID over, right? That is the main purpose when they build a My Sejatra application. But over the time, it become a one-stop center for us to get the information on the daily cases. And after that, vaccination. And after that, they also actually bring the digital health, where they also give you a consultation. Let's say like you are home quarantine. They also actually check your status on My Sejatra app if you are in a home quarantine. And I see like the very latest one is about the SJ trace features or something. So they try to actually implement the check-in, check-out function, but it's never get the people's attention because even you and me, I always forget to check out myself. I hope like most of you also doing the same thing. So immediately they think like the check-in, check-out doesn't work. We must change, but we want to focus on the tracing part of it. So they come up with how they connect your location, your GPS location, on tracing your movement. Can you see like the involvement? So this is something like what the incremental value creations works in agile environment. It's also create a faster feedback cycle, and you said you create a product or solutions based on the need of the market, based on the feedback given by the real market. Okay, and the fourth one is about the frequent value delivery. How the frequent value delivery happen? In agile, a way of working, the people is an important factor. Where I told you is about 80 to 85 percentage is based, the success story based on the people itself. And the other 10% and also the 15-20% is about the tools that we are using it. So now, because of the technology, most of the company, they use automation tool, project tracker tool. They use like a Jira software tool is GitHub. There are many tools has been used to track the project efficiency. So tracking is one of the important part. And also regularly we check out whether the completion is happens or not, right? And the fifth one, which is also most important factor, is that the continuous improvement. Agile based on a sustainability model. That means like, it's not that you are you are the best company for just 1 year. Over the year, when we take a concept of Apple, since Apple started, founded by Steve Jobs, until now, even he is no longer, right? The concept of the company is to produce innovative product continuously to be the king of the market. So the influence people, you won't be seeing like Apple always they run promotions. They give discounts on their product. Anyone see a discount for Apple products? Can I say yes or no over here? Have you seen like Apple run any promotions in terms of a discount price and all that? Yes or no? Guys, can I have some response? No, actually the answer is no, right? And why? Yeah, counterfeit is okay, but most of the time they don't round on the discount part of it, right? They won't say like the price has been dropped. Have you even seen the price has been dropped for the different versions? They are only increasing now. 13 Pro is also, people are still buying it, right? Even there is not much difference in the features, but they already created that kind of a hype. Yeah, the price drop for the older model when the new model introduced, right? This is always happens even any product. But when people are buying a new product, they always create a hype. How they do it? Every year, September, people will be waiting for the new launch of an iPhone. And they are get ready on waiting to pre-order it, right? People even get the product, they actually use our money to produce the product. This is the concept that Apple has. Why they are so successful? Because they are bringing all the on-trend and also innovative products for the users. Users need experience. We will somehow find the money to buy it, even how costly it is, because we live for a lifestyle. That is the millennials mindset, right? So the agile organization works very well for the millennials who are looking for experience rather than the price tag or whatever, right? So the continuous improvement happens by the people connect every day. The daily connect is important. And also the regular improvement is important. Things has to be evolved, right? And also just to repeat on how to be agile, the first concept is about people, from the individual to the group, to the team, and also to the organization. We have to create sustainable in terms of the people empowerment. Okay, attracting people towards the job. So the leader must be very good, practically understand the need of the people working so that they can work for you in a better way for a common goal, not for the self-interest, right? And in terms of a continuous improvement, I also have a concept here which is known as a PDCA life cycle. In most of the time, when you want to create a continuous improvement, do follow this PDCA life cycle. Rather than we do it immediately, we have to plan to do what we're supposed to do for this particular project. But how the planning happens? We have to start with the problem solving technique. Identify the problem and also see like whether the features that we are creating for the project will be useful for the customer. So the customer centricity, always put the customer first to check what is their main pain points, and also try to run the project in a sequence manner where if let's say like I give this feature to them, how many percentage of the user will get satisfied out of it. So let me try to test. So you have to test it so that when you construct the work, you will be seeing like you get a buy-in from your user. If you never get a buy-in, then you have to change the concept. That is what about the PDCA life cycle. I just don't want to elaborate it more because it's if you are actually going through a training program, a comprehensive training program, then it's much easier for us to give some example and activities for you to test whether the PDCA life cycle works or not. We also have a lot of online virtual games and activities for you to understand each and every concept, right? But here, just as a basic understanding, I'm giving you some structural understanding on each concept. Okay. And towards the end, I also wanted to wind up by giving you what are the benefits of adopting Agile, right? Adopting Agile is actually helps you in managing the change request. That is the very most common reason why the organization are moving towards agility way of working or agility model. And second reason to improvise the project visibility. So you can see like this particular screenshot I've taken from 12th annual State of Agile report. Every year they will come out with the Agile report on putting up the trends on Agile adaptation. You can just go and Google for the 12th State of Agile report. So you can get it easily, right? I also have uploaded this in a bit.ly. If you want to get it also can, right? And also like the other things benefits that Agile gives for any organization is the business and IT alignment, right? And also to improvise the delivery speed or the time to market, customer satisfactions and all that, right? And another important factor is about the productivity of the team member is also being improvised tremendously. So you can see like the scoring of Agile is more than 60% overall. That means like Agile is has been there for 20 years and still counting, and people are utilizing it, right? So that is why like it's become a commonplace for you to go with if you are looking for a modern working environment. Okay, so I also wanted to just touch base a little bit before I'm winding up. You can see like a few concepts, but I don't want to go in depth of each concept because whatever that I've given you currently is good enough for your understanding, right? Uh, Even we are talking about agile mindset and also like some of the terminologies. If you are practicing agile within your organization or within the organization that you are going with after this, right? There are certain methodologies and frameworks which is falls under this agile umbrella. And this has been divided when you start as a small organizations or a small team or in a large frame or large teams environment, right? And I've given you some of the terminology. It starts with, even you are starting on your agile, it starts with having the combinations of a design thinking, lean startup, and agile. So this helps in most of the time. You can see like the reason why the unicorn companies become so successful. Very recently, you will be hearing that Grab is actually positioned themselves on Nasdaq, where is like the world market. They actually become like a be in the world leader, right? How they happens even in a very short period of time, in a 5 years time, like a Grab has become so big because of their mindset, how they uh, bring up the customers a main problem and then they give a solution in a very fast manner. That's why they can become very, very famous. And that is known as a MVP. But I don't want to go in depth of MVP, but this is one of the concept that they try to utilize in order for them to actually be positioned their market faster, right? Bringing their product to the market faster. And I've also given you some of the screenshots of different methodologies, starting with Kanban. Kanban is it is the flow where you can actually manage your task better. I just give a simple example so that you can understand about the Kanban concept. Whenever you're going for a subway use a Kanban process. That's why you can see like in most of the time, you won't see a long queue waiting in a subway. Have you all know Subway, right? Where we buy the sandwiches and all that, right? Subway is one of the number one supply chain of fast food supply chain, has the highest fast food supply chain. That means like they have the most highest number of stations of a subway around the world. Even KFC and McDonald's, they have the highest revenue because people love to eat more chickens and burgers rather than sandwich, right? But Subway has also become the fastest food chain suppliers in a fast food because they manage their items, their resources. So you'll be seeing like they simplified their process. You go to Subway to mainly buy one matter, which is the sandwich, right? And also they will give you a few options to choose the bread and also some of the fillings and lastly your sauce, ketchup sauce or whatever. And then they pick and then they give it to you. Either you can choose as a combo or you can choose as a la carte. It's very simple. And equally, why they have a lot of a supply chain? Because They put up all the items in a way it's very transparent, and also it helps to make the users to take a decision what they want. And also in terms of the inventory part, whenever they see like the compartment is getting empty, they just do the filling up. So they don't waste any of their resources end of the day. Because of this reason, they can have more supply chain in a fast food environment, even not a KFC and also McDonald's, right? You can actually Google about it also. So that is a good part of it. And when you are going through an organization, mainly focusing on projects, they'll be using a Scrum. Scrum is a very structured framework. They have a specific rules, and also they have a lot of stages in Scrum, which is a little bit very structured, and they also have a very comprehensive Scrum guide. So you can also check it out, the Scrum Guide 2020, right, in online, where you also have that for you to understand how the Scrum works, right? And Scrum is the most commonly used framework in the world, right? More than 55% of the Agile practitioners are using Scrum. And also people using some hybrid methodologies, which is known as a Scrum, combinations of Scrum and Kanban, which is known as a Scrumban, right? They manage their flow equally. They also run a few iterations, so that they are also looking into some flexible environment rather than going through the very structured framework like a Scrum, right? Since Agile says you can be flexible on adapting the values and principle, but you must know like which one to pick up, right? So it's very flexible. That's why you'll be seeing like the Scrumban is also one of the commonly used terminologies in a Agile framework. And also like some of the events, I've talked about the daily stand-ups meeting, and also in Agile environment, they will be doing a sprint planning meetings. They also will be having a review meeting, and lastly about the retrospective meeting. And the retrospective is where the team member will do a self-reflection. So one of the very important factor in Agile environment is the team to discuss themselves, and also they always say like they take the accountability if anything goes wrong, and then they try to find a way to improvise it. That's why the retrospective is very important in a continuous improvement environment, right? And also the three different main roles in Scrum, which if you are looking into a career in Agile environment, that is the reason also I included this. They are people are looking for a product owner role, Scrum Master role, and also Scrum team role, right? So it is like a different structured role. If you go through Agile project management training in detail, or in a Scrum certification training, you will encounter very in detail on the roles of the Scrum roles, which you can also be part of it. Because the reason why I'm showing this, you will be having a direction where you want to focus while you are getting into this Agile environment. Okay, other than this three role, you also will be seeing like a tribe. We put up the Agile environment over the tribe, right? Don't get confused that I'm showing a little bit on additional things. Yeah, Avenger the Scrum game. Yeah, so you know the reason why I'm putting Avenger and Scrum, because it's about the transformation, right? From a normal people to an extraordinary people. So we need a superpower to run an Agile environment. That's why each and every one is important. You can see like I'm always compare the agile roles together with Avenger because they have a very structured, and we can even have some similarity in the roles that are played in Avenger and also in Scrum roles, right? So that's about it. I also added a few things which I see like it's also overloaded to all of you. If you are moving towards more, then you'll be looking into the agile leadership, how the agile leaders has to be, and what are the different types of skill set they must have, and all that, right? The main matter is that to create the environment for excellence is one of the very important factor, and also the decision making power. We must give the decision making power to everyone. This is one of the important factor in agile environment, and also try to
Hello, Buvna. Speaker have been disconnected. Okay, for a while, perhaps we wait for her. Hope it's not raining. Buvna, you still there?
Hi, I think internet disconnected. Just hold on. Yeah.
See, on her side, right? Okay.
It's back.
Hi.
It's back.
Okay, thanks.
hello. So suddenly I was being tendang. I also don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Bintendang. Oh.
I don't know.
Maybe because nearly to 3 minutes.
So suddenly I
So
feel
you're
kicked
using
out. I
different.
don't know.
Oh,
I
okay.
was just
Glad that you're coming back. Okay, continue.
dah nak habis dah. I think we also shortage of time. Let me just complete. Okay, can you see me now? Okay, right. So in agile environment, it's not about your win, it's about the entire team win, right? So as an agile leader or the team members, we have to actually make other people to success also. So we have to grow together. That's why you can hear, like in agile environment, they call as a coach, they call as a mentor, not as a boss. Always they won't use this particular term as a boss. But in our traditional environment, even the superior, just a one level also, hey, I have to ask my boss like, before I do something. Can. But in agile environment, we call them as a coach or mentor. This is some of the difference you will be seeing in an agile environment. Okay, I also want to give another key takeaway since this is for mainly for the graduates. Like when we are executing something, if you are creating a highly productive work efficiency, you can take up this particular principle, which is known as a Pareto principle. So the Pareto principle is helps to build a great team. Okay, and how it works, we have to identify what is the most important least effort that we must take so that you can get the highest result. So for example, the 20% of the effort gives 80% of the result. If I'm running a company, right, I'm just have to look into 20% of the client who can give 80% of my business. So I have to work even more closer to the client. I have to give more engagement with them. If let's say like there is a need for me to give a little bit on discounts or like ad hoc services, everything, I have to take care the 20% of the client because I know like 80% of my business revenue comes from that 20% of my clients. That's why they will be asking you, who is your significant clients? People will ask that, right? So we have to create that kind of environment in a work. And similar goes with, there could be asset. If a company has an asset, the 20% of the investor may own the 80% of the asset, right? This is where the Pareto work, a Pareto principle works at your work or even as a graduate, right? This is how it works. And the final one is suitable for everyone. If let's say like you focus the 20% of most of the effort goes to the result that you want to achieve in your work. It could be your semester result, it could be your assignment result. Pick up to set the highest priority, which can give the highest value, or people will appreciate you not for everything, but only for certain thing. Find out that certain thing and execute that, and also try to get the immediate result. That's what Agile says. You must show the result at an early stage. Rapid delivery is matter in Agile, right? So with that, I conclude over here. 20 always trumps 80. That means like the 20% is very important for you to achieve the 80% of your result. Okay, with that, I conclude. I think I'm missed out 2 minutes, right? I'm really sorry for the time. I think I've added a bit extra for all of you, right? A bit more excited to share many things, right? So with that, I've completed my presentation. If you have any questions, we still can extend the time a bit extra.
Yes,
if you have
yes.
any questions, you can ask me a question over here as a graduate, right? What is the, like a doubt that you have in terms of the Agile principles and all that?
Okay, can we have 10 minutes or 15 minutes questions here? Yeah, thank you, Buvna, for quite informative talk on Agile. Okay. We have know the difference between iterative, incremental, and then lean Agile mindset, which is different between lean and as well as Agile, how Agile been introduced, yeah, or been pinned, yeah, and then Agile principle. What else? 5 principle of steps, okay, and a few more benefit of adopting Agile example practices, okay, of techniques like Scrum, Kanban, and Scrumban, okay. And perhaps any of the students need to ask questions. Okay, can we get at least perhaps 2 or 3 questions here?
Hello,
Got
madam.
question. Okay, who's
Yeah.
that?
Hello,
Gaffney.
I am Gaffney Sabi. Miss Buvna, thank you for your very wonderful talk about the Agile concept. So basically, my question for the day is, so what's the ideal time for one cycle, for the one Agile cycle? Because I've been consulting Google especially that we try to fit like 2 to 3 weeks into one cycle, but then they say if I fit to 4 weeks, it will become waterfall. Is that correct? Or can you explain more about that?
No, I missed out. I thought like you were finished talking, but I got some disruptive. What is your last? You do a comparison between waterfall and also Agile.
It's maybe misunderstanding in my misunderstanding in my research lah. So I found out that they said if I in one cycle it took more than 3 weeks, it will become waterfall. So yeah, I'm quite maybe I have a misconception. So maybe you could share more about what's the ideal time for one Agile cycle.
Okay, so it's a very valid question, but it's just a bit going deeper in a Scrum. But mostly in a Scrum framework, we have a very structured time-boxed Scrum, meeting or the iteration cycles. So according to the Scrum guide, you can see like any Scrum, any iteration cycle has to be less than 30 working days. That means like less than 4 weeks. Anything less than 4 weeks is good enough, right? But when you compare yourself with a waterfall approach and also an agile approach, and you compare like your question, it says like if it is more than 3 weeks, then why we need an agile? Because we need to create more frequent delivery model, right? That's what your questions, right? Okay, it's very, very subjective because in some projects you need a longer time for you to show the workable conditions. So Agile is not concerned about the time that you agree to take on each cycle, but whether can you give a workable incremental a product on each cycle is matter. So the team can decide whether they can go with the 4 weeks, 3 weeks, or 2 weeks, even a 1 week, depending on the project needs. So I think like it's a misconception of if you go more than 3 weeks, then it's no difference between waterfall and agile. It's not such a thing. It's based on the project needs. We can actually come out with the iteration cycle. And another thing in a Scrum is that if let's say like you are taking a project of 4 months, right? You can have like a 4 sprint cycles with each iteration cycle. You can decide whether you want to create as a 2-week cycle or 4-week cycle. It's based on the planning, the release planning that you want to do. So no need to worry. If it is more than 3 weeks, it falls under waterfall. No such thing, Gaffney.
All right, thank you. Okay, now I'm clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaffney. Do you have any more questions?
I
Very
have a
good question, Gaffney. Okay.
Okay, hi, Miss Buvna and Madam Fazla. So my name is Melvin.
Hi.
The first question I would like to ask is, every client is different. So we have different client when approaching in a project. So what is the better approach when your client decides you to decide the whole thing? For example, in the requirement is up to us. They just give us a rough idea. Okay, I want a website to order food. Okay, that's the whole general idea, and then they let us to to decide the whole requirement, to decide the whole flow of the website and all that. So and also, what happens if our client does not understand about agile? Like, do you have to explain to them? Like when there are clients that approach you just because you have the skills, but they themselves do not know about agile. So before further advancing into the project, how do we let them know about this agile methodology? It's the first question.
Okay. Yes, that's a very deep question, right? When we are talking about getting the feedback from the customer is always like a challenge when they don't know anything about what they want, right? Most of the customer in this world is like that. They don't know what they want, but they want something. So we as a development team or the company who are developing a solution for them, we have to make sure that we get a buy-in at the initial stage on a certain set of questions that we have to ask them. So in this way, you can come out with a structure on your, let's say like they are asking for the food order applications, right? So you can pick up like one or two application that is already in the market, which is Food Panda and also GrabFood, right? You also will be having like a sum of the very key features that any application that must have. You first have to identify your audience, your client. What is the capacity of your client and how soon they want to execute this project and the budget that they have. So with this limited budget they have, the limited time, Agile helps you to adaptive the features according to the client's need. So you can create a stages or the roadmap for the client to give the best feature for the immediate feature in a food app, right? In a food ordering app. That means like how you can bring in all the menus inside the category of the food first is important. And also the user registration is also must have. So we actually have one concept in Agile, which is known as a Moscow prioritization. You must actually come out with the must have, could have, should have, and also would have. So you have to set the priority, and also based on the budget and also the time that the client has, you can give a suggestion to the client. So that is one of it. And secondly, we need not to actually educate the client about the Agile methodology because none of the client is actually wanted to know the process that you are working with. They only focus on the result, right? So, but what you can highlight is that we will actually deliver your complete application in stages so that you will be start seeing the most important feature to be delivered to your client. Your clients start registering themselves. You can even run like promotions within your company so that those first 100 users who are registering with you, we will get a launching discount of 10%. So with that, we will understand the group of people who are wanted to connect with you, and with that, let us come out with the category of food. In this way, we will actually serve your clients, your users much better. Do you think that is workable for you? Since you wanted to launch it faster, but you also don't know which type of food ordering features that your customer is going to like. So we suggest you to go with the important features, launch first to get the feedback, and then you improvise. In this way, you won't be wasting your time on developing the food app, and also the cost involved also will be less. When we talk in this way, right? And do you think like the customer will get a buy-in from you, Melvin?
Can you repeat that again?
No, if I give a suggestion in this way to the client, do you think like the client will actually accept my proposal rather than I'm telling it's an agile concept?
Sorry, miss, your line is a bit can't hear.
No, did you understand whatever that I said previously?
Yes, correct. Yeah, about the client, I understand.
Okay, so do you think like when I give a suggestion, this type of a suggestion to the client, will the client accept my proposal?
I think we need to look into what the client feel. For example, that you said just now, they want results. So client that only aims for result will often would agree to what we propose. So that's the difficult part when you are trying to advance into the project where the progress is almost to completion, but still when we propose something to a client, they would often agree because first they would not know the actual thing that they want. Secondly, that what they want is a result from what we believe in them because they approach us because they are our client because they approach us and they trust us and they believe us that we will deliver such project.
Yeah, I totally understand your point of view. Customer always wins. And we also say like customer is king. So our work is to satisfy our customer. But when we want to satisfy, there are certain measures that we must take based on the budget that the customer has, based also on the liking pattern of the customer. But we as a stranger to them at the initial stage, we can't actually get the. So it's only we can create an alignment at the initial stage by understanding their business model and proposing based on our skill that we have, the experience that we have while we are coming up with the food order app in a previous project. So that's why we also have one particular term in Agile. So Agile works on the empirical model. That means like we work based on the past experience that we have done, estimate our current projects or future projects. So if we get matured, and then every time when we are working in a different clients, we can be adaptive for their requirement, and we can give what they want in a better way. It's a very much like the maturity level that we have in the project implementation.
Yeah, understand about that. Okay, one more thing. So how do you discipline yourself when you are working alone? So for example, okay, I think the common scenario that we have is working under a company. But if you're working alone, because sometimes you're just, clear-headed and you just, okay, this is my project. I'm not working with anyone. I'm doing this alone, so it just go with my flow. But but going into an agile approach, how do you discipline yourself? Because you feel like you're on your own world.
Yeah, it's a real challenge for those who have been worked in silos. We call them as worked in silos rather than working in a team environment. So this is a very big challenge currently facing by any agile environment. It's about the shift in mindset that if you are working in silos, you have some limitations on learning things from other people's ideas. So when you open up your mindset, that's why we need to embark the mindset first to the people before they embarking the process and also the tools that they are going to execute in agile environment. So more in terms of we call this as like accepting the tolerance level, how they can be more tolerant. Because I also have seen like in most of the companies, right, they don't like to go for the daily stand up. Hey, it's wasting of time, and we are hearing other people are talking because I still have a lot of other things to do. This is the people who are working in a silos. They are very highly productive, right? So when you bring the similar concept, you may have your own way of working. And I'm not sure like why you're bringing the self-discipline on working with other people. When you are working in other people, you have to be flexible. You no need to have so much of a discipline on I have to listen to them and all that. Just be more mindful on accepting everything. And also if let's say you find something wrong, be also a person to put that immediately, because transparency is also one of the key principle in agile environment. Because if you don't have a transparency, you can't be very intolerant. So that is also something like I see most of the common problem facing in a current environment. Those are shifting from the silos to a teamwork environment. So the first thing is that you trust the time. Okay, you trust your leader who are also embarking the other team members to be more agile, and then they can create that a high collaborations within them. So just be yourself and also accept the environment rather than we are having our own set of principle. The moment we start believing we all one and we are working for one goal, and then you will be it will be replaced by the self-interest, because mostly those are working in an environment, they will as one person they work for their personal KPI, right? The key performance index, because the highest will be every time when you are having your the year end appraisal and all that, they based on the personal KPI. But in agile environment, you'll be having a team KPI or project KPI. So nobody is work for their personal interest, but they work for the commonness of the project. So in a way, like it will change the mindset, your mindset while working in a team environment.
All right, understand about that. Talking about teams, right? So you mentioned about the cross-functional team members in your previous slide. Um, I think for all fashion company, it's quite hard to follow, because some people will have the mindset, because you're hired as a graphic designer, so your only scope, your only task is to graphic design things. So what if you like help or collaborate with another team member, for example, let's say SEO expert, so it's out of your scope. So it's out of what you are paid for. Because so that this means you're labeled as an overworker, and it makes you like that your role is expanding, but still you're hired to do that what you're hired to do what your job has already advertised, because you're not getting paid more to help the other team members. But in I think in modern companies like the Gen Z would promote collaborative work.
Yeah, cross-functional team. I totally agree because it's again another receptive and also a challenge faced by your traditional companies to moving towards an agile environment. The pro and con is that they just worried the self-interest again, right? Again, it falls under the individual KPI and also like the benefits that they are getting. So in agile environment, it says like focus on your work, the rest is follows. So it's about the result makes your organization to be more successful. When the organization more successful, they will take care of the need of the people because they find the people are the asset for the organization to achieve even more. So that's why like the shift in the functional role is already happening, but we don't say this is a multi-task role, but rather we call this as a cross-functional because it's about the idea what matters. It's not that as a graphic designer, they must do the SEO job. It's also a misconception. As a graphic designer, when you are taking up as a website development, you as a graphic designer, you understand the SEO part of it. So when you do the design, it's actually accommodate the SEO functionalities. That is what the real agile environment all about. It's not that as a graphic designer, I also must do a SEO job. I think like a little bit of misconceptions over there. I hope you got what I mean.
Yeah, I got what you mean. All right. I think that's all for me. Thank you, Ms. Buvna, to answer all my inquiries. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Malvin.
Thank you, Melvin. And I have one question, Buvna. Okay? Since I guess you start with your own startups first, right? And then you experience in using Agile is a part of building up your startup, okay? And maybe you can give us like some advice, okay, challenges, okay, or risks that you have faced before the experience.
Oh, okay, sure, definitely. As I started in 2016, I start when I got an opportunity to actually become a person who organized agile training in Malaysia. So since I'm a software development company, there are people who are approaching us to do agile software development. So I got some outsourcing opportunities and all that. And I find agile is really works well. And then I take a risk on learning agile, and then I start training myself, getting certifications and all that. But one core matter why I choose to actually bring the agility model within me is that if you're working in the current environment, things are moving. So as an entrepreneur, as a startup, we have to focus on the adaptability very first. That if there is a need for us to diversify, we have to diversify. If there is a need for us to collaborate, we have to collaborate. So we don't see as a competitors, but we see if I collaborate with this particular person, can I even improvise my current business status or not? So that's how I try to say like my strength is a strategies as a business development, as a project manager. So I bring people who has a core technical like engineering practice. They need agile engineering practices experience. And also, I also have to bring people who are very good in the automation tools, like software tester, agile software tester, and all that.
Yes.
So I collaborate with the different experienced people. And also, I have another trainer of mine who's good in creating the agile projects, mainly on like animation works and all that, right? So if I believe in collaboration, and that brings me even to secure more projects. But it's only thing, the risk that I find in my current environment is that I also know how to secure my position as being a mediator when I bring more people in a collaboration. So I must have a transparency in all the business dealing that we do. And I have to create a fairness so that they don't feel that I've been used them for my projects, but they are not being paid well for it. Right. So this kind of integrity and also like the transparency helps me to build my businesses over the time. So I start alone now. I have about 5 to 6 trainers working in our company, where we are also doing some consulting projects and all that. And the reason is we also embarked this a long journey within like 4 or 5 years. I've been trained locally and internationally. The one advice that I can give is that I have to build myself more and more. I start with a small team consulting. I also try to get more certification during this COVID time. So now I become a certified Agile coach, and also I also become a safe program consultant, SPC. And because of that, I see like the value that I've created for my client also improved. Way then I started about 5 years ago. I was very new for the environment, and now with a lot more engagement, I can learn a different industry. So now I create my niche. I'm working very closely with financial sector. I've been trained mostly the insurance companies and also bank clients, both locally and internationally, those who are starting their Agile journey. So I create a niche for me. I keep it very simple. I train on Agile concepts, Agile mindset, Agile culture, and Agile project management. The rest of it, some of the certification, I collaborate. So I no need to take everything on my plate. It will be overdose for me. Rather, I get more projects, but other people also working on it. So that is the real Agile concept, and which I'm using it in my business. This works very well.
Okay, thank you, thank you. I guess we have to wrap up. Okay, it's 2:28, nearly 2.5 now. Okay, so I guess can we have like a photo? Yeah, can students camera please? Okay, you can enable your camera. And we have a group photo here. Okay, for memory. Boleh buka kamera, the webcam kalau yang ada. Malu. Tak apa. Okay. Daphne. Semua malu. Bila kelas, bila lecture, oleh mesti tak okay. Baru ada jumpa everybody.
Tidak ada seorang kena be a starter, baru yang lain follow.
And some are graduates who have macam dah kerja, rindunya tengok muka semua ni. Ada yang baru, ada yang lama. Okay. So I seldom ask them to, switch on the camera actually. Only for this special occasions with Miss Buvna. Miss Buvna pun nak tengok semua ni.
Ya, barulah boleh. The face-to-face conversation is important in Agile.
Definitely. Okay, we have got full on this page. Okay, say hi. Okay. So first page. Okay, let me save. Okay, next one. Go to the next page. Okay, can we have a few more? Yeah. Untuk memory, who knows? Okay, we're gonna invite Buvna again. next semester, perhaps next year, we'll have a hybrid class.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love to travel to Sarawak, as you know.
How many times you've been
Sarawak
to Sarawak, Kuching especially?
Yeah. And
Berapa kali dah?
to travel. No, one time only. After that, kan
Oh
sudah
ya
ni
kah? Yalah.
engagement, and we are going to have a continuous engagement.
Hmm.
Mana nak travel kan?
Agree. Lagi? Maybe 10 more? 10 orang lagi untuk buka kamera. Okay, nampak semua tu. Ada yang malu-malu ni. Okay. For another 30 seconds perhaps. Okay. Okay, so snap ya. Cheese. Ya. Cheese. Okay. Semua ni malu-malu ni. Two. Okay, set. I'm glad, I'm very happy and delighted with talk by our Miss Buvna. Looking forward for more informative talk by you and to come to Kota Semaran here, meeting up as students. Any last word from you?
Love to actually come and in person, because I feel like now things are opening back lah kan.
Yeah.
You can even come out with like a 1-day training, or 2 days, a short training. Because Agile, if you have like activities and also games, you can understand the concept better.
Agree. And I actually have bought some of the cards for and as well as
the sticky notes, is it?
Yeah, sticky cards
notes,
and
poker. There are few tools that we can use to teach on Agile. We can also have like an Agile roadmap, like a poster. So we can also come out with some of the activities and all that.
They have like gamification for Agile too, right?
Actually, if it is a face-to-face Lakan, we can do quite a lot of games.
Yes,
for them to shift of minds happens only when you do it yourself.
Definitely.
And you learn by a practice.
Doing.
It's not by only listening.
Agree. Learning by doing.
Yeah, learning by doing, exactly.
Okay. Thank you so much to especially every student who have,
being so patient, stay here during
jam.
the lunch break. I hope like semua dah ambil lunch while I'm talking. I'm going to have my lunch a bit later.
Okay,
so
same.
It's a late lunch lah for me.
Okay, thank you very much, Buvna. So I'm going to show the attendance for students, especially the
so I just have to share one about the Agile handbook to you.
Okay, sure, no problem. Okay, attendance to students. Yang non-student, non-SELAB student can sign in the attendance. Thank you very much, Buvna. Okay, hope to see you again.
Yeah, most welcome. You take care, and also
bye
to everyone. Good luck. Bye.
Okay,
yeah,
bye.
sure.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
See you. Bye. Any manual attendance, you just post in the inbox. Any more? Wait for another 1 minute. Okay, I guess I'm gonna end session. Thank you very much. Bye bye.